This is me about to do my first Hyrox. Me and my brother were competing in Hyrox men's doubles, open doubles, Glasgow, and we thought we had sub 1 hour in the bag. Spoilers, we did not. But I think we could have, if I'd known the 5 things that I'm about to share with you in this video. So before I get into those 5 things, quickly, here are the results if you're interested. This is the data, this is how the race went. So what are the 5 tips? Well, maybe if you're anything like me, you're watching this video 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours before your race starts. You know, you're sat there waiting, thinking maybe I should learn a bit more about like what are the best practices for running a good Hyrox race. Going into mine, I just kind of had signed up for it on a whim. Didn't really do too much research. Literally the day of, I was like reading the rules and I thought, I'll watch a couple of YouTube videos, and it really wasn't that well prepared. So yeah, you might be a little bit like me watching this right now. So I'm going to try and give you in 5 minutes or less, because for all I know, you only have 5 minutes before your race starts. So I gotta be quick. Also, I don't really have anywhere else to film this, and I've got some training to be doing today, so I figured we'd just, you know, crack on and film this video while I do a bit of a quick bike. Tip number 1, running is king. Now, you probably already know this, but I just want to make that really clear. Hyrox, there are 8 stations and there are 8 runs. So no matter how good you are at any one of the stations, running will still be 50% plus of your total result. And I say plus because there's actually the rock zone as well. So after you've done a station and you run back to the run, over the course of the whole event, that adds up to nearly another kilometer. So the majority, or at least more than half of your result, is determined by your running ability. So tip number 2, when you're shooting for a good time, don't underestimate the impact of the rock zone. So the rock zone is what we call the transition between stations. So once you've done your run, you kind of come into the rock zone. From there, you run to, okay, I see a big sign that says number 6, farmer's carry, or whatever. You run there, you do the farmer's carry, and then you run out. And in your head, when you're calculating before a Hyrox how it's going to go down, you tend to just think, okay, I'll run and I'll do the station, and you forget to factor in that even though it's only a little bit, over the course of doing 8 stations, that rock zone will add up to potentially 800 meters, maybe a kilometer or so. It will vary depending on the course and where you do it. When you're exiting the rock zone, make sure you exit through the out and not through the in. We once ran kind of in the wrong way and then we had to change, and little things like that, they add up. I would say try to have a strategy before you go in on how much you're going to drink and how often you're going to stop to drink if that is something you do. And because I didn't plan before the race how many times I was going to stop, I ended up just sort of maybe listening to my body more than I should have. My body kept telling me, oh, I just want water, I want to drink, I want to do this. And looking back, I'm like, I don't know if I did. And maybe that was just my brain wanted a 10-second break, and so it was telling me that I needed to drink, you know? So tip number 3 is the wall balls. I was really nervous about the wall balls because they were the last exercise. I had done a bit of research before Hyrox, just on ChatGPT, saying that, which station's the hardest, what should I be worried about, what should I train for? And ChatGPT was giving me so much of this about the wall balls. I, though, did not find that at all. I found the wall balls to be really easy. Obviously, yeah, all of this caveat is doubles always going to be easier because you're doing less of them, but especially just compared to the other stations, I just didn't find wall balls that hard. And you've got kind of the adrenaline of knowing you're right at the end. You know, you're swapping between you, maybe you're doing 25 each. I think we could have pushed a lot harder prior to the wall balls and really not been affected that much. So tip number 4, on a somewhat related note, is, again, this is just personal. This is what I might have done differently. I don't know if this is scientifically the best approach, but looking back, I wish I'd played more to my strengths and pushed harder on the runs, and just, if that meant I performed slightly weaker on the stations, that's okay. I think I would have preferred that, because I honestly think that just me personally, I don't know if this would be the same for you, I think I could have gained more time by pushing harder on the runs than I would have lost by how much that might have weakened my performance on the stations. So tip 5, and I do think this is actually a very useful tip, try and race with someone. If you're doing it as a doubles, try and find a partner who is at as equal a level to you as possible, because that's going to lead to a better race. So like I said, I ran this race with my brother, who is, or at the time at least, I don't know, I've been doing a lot of training since, but at the time, he was objectively fitter than me, like quicker and stronger. So it led to an interesting dynamic where during the run, for example, let's say we ran 4-minute 10 kilometer. For him, that felt quite easy on the day. For me, that felt quite hard on the day. So then when we got to the station, because the run had felt easy to him, he was able to complete his section of the workout, you know, his part of the ski or whatever, quite quickly because he had so much energy. Whereas because I was already tired, you know, it was taking me a bit longer, and then I would have less time to recover, and it was like this weird spiral effect. I do think, generally speaking, the mismatch in our ability level was of a significant enough amount that it did have an impact on my ability to be recovering and just hitting the race in the best way. And so I think trying to make sure you're fairly on a good level with whoever you're doing it with is just going to be good for both of you. But yeah, you know, that's how it went. And there's some of the data I was quite happy with looking back. I think the thing that I took the most pride in was that I think we started up at like top 8% for the first run, but by the end we were more like top 3%, which meant, I don't know, in my head I was like, okay, not only were we decent at the running, but we were decent at like staying strong and that mental resilience, I think. So that was cool. And I'm just gonna keep training. Next time, I don't think the gap will be as bad. We will see. Even I think if we'd done a lot of these things I've just talked about differently, I think we could have had it, but this is what it is. You go out and you learn. So yeah, hope you like the video. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. And also, if you're interested in what I'm currently training for, my next challenge will be running 42 marathons in 42 days from top of Great Britain to the bottom. I'll be doing that in the summer as a fundraiser. You can go to the link marathonsformum.com to check that out. All links will also be in the description. Hope you enjoyed this slightly chaotic video. To be honest, the reason I'm kind of rushing it is I've got to go run a half marathon and hit the sauna, and it's coming up on 7 p.m, so let's just get after it. See you in the next video. I also forgot to mention, but as you probably could tell by the t-shirt, we were doing this for Macmillan cancer support. If you want to go check out that fundraiser, there's a Just Given link. It'll be in the description. Appreciate it.